Hello everyone, this is Critic giving you Game 2 in a series between ESC Goody and Dimaga. Game 2 taking place here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Dimaga spawned as the red Zerg player. Goody spawned as the purple Terran. Only two spawning locations. Both players already know where the other player is, and I will be referring to the previous games. So please watch these games in order. Dimaga currently has a 1-0 lead after taking a very convincing win on Testbug, using Mass Mutalist in order to shut down multiple Thors. You would think I believe it was 20, or it was like 22 Mutalists versus 4 or 5 Thors, and the Thors just simply got out macroed and got outswarmed. And SCV now making its way out, and Goody doing a very fast scout here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. I'm interested to see what exactly Goody will try to do. He could try to set up a barracks over here, and this would allow for a proxy Rax rush here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. But he is going to be scouted out by this drone in just a moment. And now the SCV coming into this location, is he going to build the barracks right here? Yeah, he's building an engineering base straight up, and now going to try to block the expansion attempt. We'll see if that even pays off at all, as Goody is now currently just getting more and more, just training up more and more SCVs. He is going to delay his barracks very significantly, as an overlord now slowly making his way over here. The engineering bay should about near completion and then stop being built. There it goes, sitting at 33/35. A barracks now being placed down here. And now all Goody's going to do is respond by going for an early extractor and a spawning pool. There's not much that all Dimaga's going to do is respond by going spawning pool and extractor. So by placing down this engineering bay, all he really did was delay his tech significantly. And SCV now going to start taking some damage by this one drone over here, and now another SCV coming off the mineral line to try to fight it back. The drone is focusing onto this one SCV, and now both SCVs are going to start trying to attack this back. And now this drone is down to, I believe, 14-15 hit points, but it will slowly be able to regenerate some hit points back once again. You can see that the engineering bay wants to be completed, but still is not going to be completed anytime soon. As I'm looking for the scouting SCV, was it lost? No, it was not lost, so it probably has returned home. This one drone now running all the way home. This one engineering base sitting at 850 hit points. You can see that the engineering base is just going to sit there and absorb a lot of damage from those Zerglings, delaying that hatchery very much. So Dimaga not going to be able to do that much damage at all. You can see that the spawning pool has been completed, and now researching that metabolic boost, the movement speed on those Zerglings. More Zerglings now being brought over as well. Goody should be canceling that. There it goes, does cancel it, and now Dimaga will be able to let Daisy the drone grow up and be a hatchery. Back here, one Marine just positioning itself to try to hold off against a large swarm of Zerglings. I believe there's going to be some queens now spawn larva, and perhaps going to try to power drone into the mid game. Dimaga getting his hatchery just a little bit late, forcing the early production of Zerglings and not being able to power drone nearly as much. But these Zerglings are just revealing a lot of the map and giving a lot of map presence and map awareness to Dimaga at this stage in the game. We are going into a double refinery now, and going into 2 factories. So 2 factories, a tech lab now being placed down on one of the factories. So it may be very early Hellions. Double training Hellions with the Infernal Pre-Igniter research would work out well for Goody if he's able to catch his opponent off guard. If Dimaga is not ready for those Hellions, those Hellions would be able to get a lot of damage, but no, going for Siege Tech instead, confusing me even further. There's Hellions, there's Siege Tanks, Marines able to shoot down one Overlord very easily there. A Zergling with wings getting some damage onto the barracks over here, only 1 or 2 shots. 1 shot onto the supply depot as well, but just sitting on that low ground waiting for something to happen. Goody currently supply locked as well, needs to build more supply depots. You can see 1 supply depot being built there, as Dimaga starting to spawn larva with that second queen, and will be able to macro up very easily now that Dimaga running off of 2 bases. So 2 base play coming in from Dimaga. Drone should be transferred over from the main base. Roach Warren is already down. Dimaga now getting more gas as well. sitting on 156 gas, will be able to trade up a lot of roaches as soon as it's ready. The Hellions now trying to move away and getting some early damage there. So the Hellion already getting 3 kills, 250 resources lost compared to 125. So a couple resources already lost there. SCVs perhaps coming off the mineral line in order to repair that Hellion. More Hellions should be trained up and joining that army in just a moment, as we should also be getting perhaps the Infernal Pre-Igniter research. So 2 Hellions, SCVs now making their way out with Marines and more SCVs. So this is going to be a Marine tank Hellion push, and it may get a lot of damage. There are a couple roaches though, so those siege tanks will need to desperately try to fight back against those roaches. Roaches deal 16 damage per attack, so they are able to get a lot of damage in very early. You can see that this one Hellion already down to 26 hit points, needs to pull back. SCVs are on auto repair. Siege tank will siege up, try to get some more damage, and now the battle is going to continue as those Hellions and siege tanks are starting to blast away. Goody now going to siege up a second tank as well. The drones now transferring away, and perhaps they're going to try to flank this location here. So the drones, no, and drones and Zerglings may try to flank this location. Roach is now pushing in from the front. Zerglings coming in from the back. There are also a lot of drones, but there are plenty of Hellions to try to support and get some splash damage. But without the blue flame research, many of those drones are not going to get killed. And very nicely done by Dimaga, using drones with Zerglings, and with that was able to stop a very aggressive push. Taking a look at the losses, 1850 loss versus 1400, and now Dimaga seriously in the lead, running off of 2 bases, having the drone advantage and the mineral advantage and the harvesting advantage. I believe he also has the army advantage. Yes, he also has the army advantage as well. The army advantage is not going to matter nearly as much as the blue flame research just completed. If Goody had waited for that blue flame research to complete before pushing out, I believe that battle would have gone a completely different way. Those Hellions would have torched down so many of those drones and those Zerglings before they even were able to swarm in and take down any of those siege tanks and Marines. Dimaga now getting up a second extractor. He will be running off of 3 bases, as Dimaga may now be transitioning into Mutalisk. Mutalisk, once again, a very, very strong tactic against Terran. Just because magic boxing has basically limited the amount of damage that those Thors are able to do. Thors move so slowly, and now a drone making its way. So the drone perhaps going to try to grow up and be a hatchery over here. Hellions now looking to deal more damage. There are 2 roaches in position. 1 roach now trying to run away. 1 roach is burnt to a crisp. And now just the sheer number of roaches, too much here. More roaches coming in, more Zerglings coming in as well. Glial reconstitution has not been started, as we are now going into a 3rd base. So Dimaga looking to establish his 3rd base already, and Goody does not even have his 2nd base up and running yet. He is now floating a command center over, but it has not been upgraded to an orbital command at all. Goody continuing this mass mech play. Hellions being trained, Thors being added to the army, siege tanks could be added as well. But mech play does require a lot more gas. He's only harvesting from 2 refineries, needs to harvest from 4 in order to be able to operate these 2 tech lab barracks. Destructible rocks now taken down. These rocks are now going to go down as well. This hatchery nearing completion at the 9 o'clock location. Roaches also acting as an early warning system, as Hellions once again moving out to try to get some damage. Not going to be able to move out very far, but the Glial reconstitution, no movement speed upgrade, even though we are at tier 2. Mutalisk now being trained up as well, so perhaps Dimaga running off of 4 bases should be able to train 4 to 5 Mutalisks a minute. And if he gets 2 additional extractors down over here, which I believe that is what Dimaga is going to do, he's going to be able to train up about 6 to 7, probably closer to 7 Mutalisks a minute. And then once he reaches critical mass on Mutalisks, it's going to be very difficult to stop. There is 1 Thor in play, a 2nd Thor being trained, level 1 weapons upgrade for the Thors, and now even more even another factory being added on. So a lot of Thors trying to be used in order to counter a lot of Mutalisks. We'll see what will actually win out in this battle, as those Mutalisks are just slowly being macroed up. You can see the unit production currently sitting on 8 Mutalisks, with more Mutalisks currently not being trained, just the level 1 air attack upgrades. Mutalisks testing the waters on that front door, quickly shoot away by that missile turret, and now more minerals being mined. I'm surprised that Dimaga has not yet tried to get extractors down, as he is a little bit more gas locked. He's going to continue to just try to train up more and more Mutalisks, but now we see 3 Thors being trained. So Goody is somehow able to get up to 600 gas, is able to train up 3 Thors at a time. Even though he's running off of 2 bases, he's not going to be able to support that type of production level for very, very long, as you only mine about 248 gas per minute, and Thors cost roughly 200 gas each, so you cannot keep up with triple Thor production off of 2 bases. Another base needs to be established. Mutalisk now trying to test the waters once again, not going to be able to get any serious damage, as now double Thors currently being trained. We could get another expansion being set up here or here as well, and I think Goody is just turtling a little bit too much. He is currently just sitting on 2 bases, doesn't realize the map presence and map control that Dimaga has across about 60% of the map. The instant Goody sneezes or tries to move out of his base, he will quickly be revealed. 1 missile turret now getting some damage onto some of those Mutalisks there, and now Thor is also trying to get a round of Javelin missiles. The Mutalist able to back off. More roaches now being trained up in addition, so it may be mass roaches, and just based upon the number of Thors we see 5 Thors, so 5 Thors means 30 food, so 30 food of Thors against only, what, 14 food, and now in come the Banelings. Banelings trying to get some splash damage. In come the Mutalisks once again. The Thors are absorbing a lot of that damage, and in come the Roaches now. Roaches going toe-to-toe against Mass Thor, and the Thors are able to fight off the attack there with the help of 1 siege tank, and now Goody with a very sizable advantage on his army. 1-0 upgraded Thors are going to slowly move out even further. Thors only have 1 base armor, so Zerglings are able to deal a lot of damage to them. We can see the Roaches now trying to push in. There are some SCVs as well, and then now a group of Roaches going to be able to snipe down a Thor in transition, but the Thor is now continuing to battle it out. Roaches now just simply trying to move in. Another round of Siege Blast continue to come in. Roaches may attack from the front and the back, but the reinforcements are just getting picked off as these siege tanks need to go into full retreat. There is not enough defense back over here. Zerglings now getting toasted here as the Thors continuing to just push into this location. A mass Roaches battling it out. SCVs are repairing the Thors, so a lot of Thors just trying to fight back against a sea of other units. Broodlings now coming out from the main hatchery at the natural expansion. 1 Thor will get shut down here. Another Thor is low on hit points. Both Thors are just continuing to slowly get destroyed here, but I think that Goody should have enough Thors to fight back. There are still plenty of SCVs repairing, and 1800 versus 475. Thors now making their way out, perhaps going to try to shut down and deal more damage. There is an expansion down over here. More Roaches trying to come in. SCVs continuing to repair, and that repairing SCVs are really what's giving Goody his continual advantage. More Roaches now trying to come in. SCVs continuing to repair. Hellions now coming in as well. Hellions getting some splash damage, and 1 Thor may get shot down there. Down it goes, but a lot of Roaches are still taking plenty of damage, and now Blue Flame Hellions getting some damage across multiple Roaches, but the Blue Flame Hellions should be trying to focus down on those drones. SCV should be trying to repair the Thors, and now down goes even more and more of those Roaches. So Roaches are in trouble. There is another Thor and siege tank combination back over here. 1 Hellion gonna get shot down by 2 Roaches here, but this attack force just on this low ground, Roaches need to swarm, and they're not going to be able to swarm anytime soon. Spire looks like it will get shut down. The Roaches just need to sit outside and wait. There are a couple Broodlings now joining in on the fight, and the Broodlings are going to help absorb a lot of that damage from those Thors, and now in come the Roaches, and this Thor push has finally been destroyed, but not without dealing terrible damage first. Expansion now also lost here as well. A lot of Hellions just getting toasted, or doing the toast of the town, finishing off many of those Roaches, and now in comes some more Roaches to try to finish off more siege tanks. Down goes another Roach there. This extractor will also get destroyed in a moment as Roaches now try to move away. So Goody, still running off of 2 bases, needs to perhaps try to establish a 3rd base, already getting that command center now. If he tries to take down these destructible rocks or tries to clear out this expansion, that would give him his necessary third base, as he is now down to one base. His main base is essentially mined out. Dimaga, on the other hand, doing long distance mining. Long distance mining, never ever a good thing, especially against a Terran player who can use mules. Mutalisk once again moving back in, trying to get more damage, not going to be successful at all. Siege tanks not in siege mode, and wow, those siege tanks not in siege mode did not finish off those roaches before they came in, but it didn't matter anyways, as the Thor absorbed so much damage and the siege tanks were able to finish the battle. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Dimaga and Goody here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Stay tuned for Game 3.